Social distancing can be hard on anyone, but is perhaps most difficult for certain children. All of a sudden, we're all living in our own little bubbles. But we can leverage this chance to use creativity for releasing stress and opening channels of communication. Students can create their very own bubbles like this, to share and open up in conversations about how their lives have been going. They don't need to be animated necessarily. Have students use Keynote, PowerPoint, or Google Drawings for making daily bubbles as vector graphics. You can use starter images from the site if you have less time. I strongly recommend using the tutorials from the same page, however. The creative aspect allows for stress relief, even before enabling important conversations about well-being. The first thing you will need to do is to go and open up a Keynote. You might have it down here in your dock. Failing that, you can just hit the Command key and spacebar, and then you can type in Keynote, and it opens up. Go Command N, opens up a new one for us. Double tap on the black and white one. Now I like to make things so they fit video size. So over here in Document, go down here to Slide Size and go to Custom Slide Size, and I use 1280 by 720. Hit that because that's the size you find most commonly used. Command A grabs everything and delete it. So now here we have exactly what we need. We have sort of like a blank slate to begin with. The first thing maybe we need to do is we can talk about text. Over here, I've got this whole thing up here already done as a customized toolbar. You should always have the text one over here. And I started off with from the initial video in the intro. Now over here, I can see that it's already set up and it's right in the middle. You want to align things. Over here in Keynote Preferences, you can put in rulers, and you can see over here it says show guides at object center, object edges. I just put all of these alignment guides on. They're very helpful. So here's my bubble. I can grab all of that, and in text I can choose lots of different texts. I have downloaded a whole bunch of them from defont.com. There is another video for that available in another one of these lessons. Command plus, looks like it says command equals, but that's because I'm holding the command key down is making it a plus. I can make that whatever size I like. So there's your basic text option. Command D will duplicate that. And in my initial version, I think I said something like, there you go. That is how we use text. Next up, let's worry about how to make that bubble. Shape is always available. Click on this, grab yourself a circle. Now this is tricky. In Format Arrange over here, I can click on this, Constrain Proportions, which means it will always be a circle. If I can undo that, you can see how you can actually screw it up. But you want it to be a circle, it's a bubble, right? Move this over here, make sure it's centered. If I shift click, I can get two things at once, and then I can make that smaller. Try to make more space for my bubble. Now I'll make sure that's centered again. Now if I make sure this is constrained, I can make that bigger. Now if I make sure this is constrained, I can make that bigger. I can use the arrow keys, shift arrow, move that down a little faster. It just makes more room for my bubble, because the bubble is what we're really all about. You don't need to put that text up there. It's your creation. I'm just showing you some ideas to unleash your very own style. Okay, I can go to the color wheel. What do I think looks bubblish? This looks a little bubblish. Maybe I make it a little bit opaque, a little more bubblish. Now, I want to put like a little shine over here. So on my trackpad, I'm using two fingers to zoom in. So here we are. Now I'm going to go over here to shape. This is the big one here that makes Keynote such a great animating tool. Just tap wherever you want, and then eventually when we close this, because you don't want to make a line, you want to make it a shape, and symmetry is important, so go slow. Once that's all done, I can start double tapping on things to make them rounded. The fewer the better, it's easier to manage it that way. Hit enter. Now, if I go back in, it's not quite round enough over here, you see, so if I double tap the edge, I can grab these, and with the little arrow keys, I can move them out. And I can make it more exact with the edge. Play around with it as much as you like. I'm not going to make everything perfect here, because I want you to just go in and make your own. It's not about watching me get something perfect. Okay, now, where it says no fill, I'm going to go to color fill. Line, no border. So now you can see I've got this nice sort of shine here. Grab this, Command D, duplicates that. I can just make it smaller again. Might put that over here, say. And here's a quick trick. If I select this over here in Style, I can save that style. So now I can just grab this, make it exactly the same. All right, so there you have your bubble. Next up, the noun project. The noun project is a place where I often get icons for inspiration. I'll get 2 or 3 of them, then I'll mix them together and make my very own. If you're less inclined to spend that much time, I leave it up to you. You can just borrow them there from yourself. You can go to their website. Let's do that now. Now let's say I've been sleeping a lot, because I have been sleeping quite a bit. I'm gonna look for bed. Again, on my YouTube channel, you can see there is a whole video about how to make your own icons in this very same way. Just grab this. Now Command Option Shift, bit of a finger ninja move. Command Option Shift, or lets me grab this, and now Command Tab back to Keynote. I put that on my clipboard, so Command V, paste it right in there. So if you want to, you can use these, but it's easy to make your own. Let me show you what I mean. These shapes, simple as that. So I'm gonna grab this one, align it with that best I can. Doesn't have to be perfect again. I'm making my own thing here. All right, there we go. I'm gonna make this longer and I'll show you why later. And then I'm gonna go with plain old rectangle, about the same here. I think my bed's gonna be more comfortable than that one. Okay, there it goes. Grab this, Command D, drag it over here, and you can see it's perfectly aligned at the bottom, which is what I want. And now I'm gonna make this much smaller, so it's kind of hidden in there. Tap, 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 line it up. Though it's not gonna matter, I'm gonna delete this, Command X eventually. So now you see how it's coming together. Now back to this amazing tool, the Draw with Pen. Just tap where you want it to stop and draw a line, and not too many. Makes it harder to deal with. And you don't even have to worry about where this one ends, because it's part of another entire vector graphic in which you will see, make it black. Grab this, Command D, make it black. Make it smaller, like a head, like we have here. Now I'm gonna grab the original and delete it. And you can see I've made my own in almost no time at all. Grab this, use the little arrows to move it around a bit. Now, shift click on everything we've drawn. Command Option G groups it. So now this will maintain its proportionality as we talked about before. So there's the first part. I've made this a bed. Now, what else have we been doing? Let's say we've been watching a lot of television. Go back over here. And what I normally do is I get a few of them and mash them up and mix them up. This is not theft. In fact, I am a strong believer, as you will find if you've read my book, Creativity is Everything, that everything is a remix, it's all a mashup. If it was good enough for Michelangelo and Da Vinci, hey, it's good enough for me. Now, we're not old-timey people, and we're going with kind of a black and white theme, so I'm gonna grab this one, Command, Control, Shift 4. See that little crosshairs? Click and drag, got the picture, Command Tab, back to Keynote. Paste it in there, and we just do the whole thing all over again. We don't have to make it as difficult as all that though. If I double tap on this, say, Command C, get out of it and paste it, Command V. Now over here in Arrange, I'm gonna make that 90-degree angle. Because I'm not stealing this guy's work, I'm trying to make my own, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same. It's the idea. Okay, there we go. If I wanted to, I could actually Command deduplicate that again, put it in exactly the same spot, and then make it like so. Always centered, nice. Command deduplicate it again. Now let's make ourselves a TV. Now that's all centered. I'm actually gonna get rid of this already. I don't really feel I need it anymore. Select it by clicking on it, or tapping on it. Shift, tap, shift, hold in the shift tap, Command Option G. It's one thing now, right? Command V brings this back again. Always on the top. I can't see it, what's he doing? Well, if I go back to style over here, remember, we saved the white. So now I've got myself a TV. I don't know, how long did that take me? 30 seconds? Shift click, Command Option G. Now I've got myself a television. But maybe I ate first. So maybe go back to, I don't know, breakfast? Because I do get up before dinner time still, thankfully. Ooh, I like this one. But this one looks easier. So why don't I just grab this for the purposes of this? Command Control Shift 4, click and drag. Now, again, you can use these icons. You can click on Get This. It is Creative Commons. It says means, when using it for any project, you're required to give credit to the icon's creator or purchase a royalty-free license. That just means you put it like at the back of your slideshow, or you need to make reference to it. Citation is something that I'm sure you're learning in school. Command V, there it is. Command D duplicates that. I make it black. Now this time I'm not even going to put it on top. I'm just going to show you, this is just a little bit of inspiration. So I'm just going to tappity. Now I'm going to double tap on every one of these little squares to make it a little circle, which means it's now rounded, called a Bezier. Okay, go Go back over to style where I saved white. Boom, there it is, white. Grab this, Command D, make it smaller. Now we've decided to go with a black and white here. If I think my egg looks a little too broken, not yummy, I can always go back and fix it by grabbing any of these things whatsoever. It's up to you. I'm actually going to shift click this, group this, make my egg a little bit smaller. Now, once again, go over here, double tap any one of these, but I want it to go this direction, so Command C, get out of there, Command V, make ourselves a knife, shall we? Command D again, make it a bit smaller. And I'm zooming in, here's a cool thing. You see the knife looks kind of like this, right? So we can go over here, we can actually go to Format and Shapes and Lines and make that editable, which means now I can start like adding some more bits to it, make it look a little bit more like a knife. And if there's too many, I can 2-finger tap on that and delete it. Double tap on that. And I'm just gonna shift click, Command Option G to group it, just to show you that I'm not making things perfect because I don't need to make things perfect. I just wanna show you how to get started. If you wanna fine tune it, the more time you spend, the better off it's gonna look, naturally. But it is just an icon after all. Double tap on this, Command C, Command V. Now maybe this time I'm gonna combine a couple of things. Let's get this shape, and we're going for a fork here. So if I hold down the shift, I can combine that. Okay, here we go. Now check this out. Command duplicate this. Make it over here in our format style that we saved white. I can just make that super duper small. Thinner because it's a fork after all. It looks more like a spatula really, doesn't it? Go like this and see that they're perfectly evenly spaced. Shift click on all of them, Command Option G, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Now we have something that looks a little bit like a fork, but maybe we want to make it a little less spatula-y. Shift click, Command Option G, make it a bit smaller perhaps. And we want it to be the same size as that one, so let's get those lined up. Make this smaller. All right, it is not a perfect fork, but if you want perfection, you go ahead and get it. Shift click, shift click, shift click, Command Option G, group. So now I've already got this going here, right? I've gone pretty far already. Zoom in, make it a little bit smaller. So I get up, I have some breakfast, I watch some TV, but maybe I don't watch some TV. Maybe I want to read a book. Over here, go to book. This looks like we're reading, so Command Control Shift 4. Crosshairs, click and drag, got it. Command Tab, back to our Keynote. Command V, paste it in there. And now this is dead simple too, right? So tap, 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 Command Copy, get out of there. Command V. I'm going a little fast, but you can go over this as much as you want. And you can just make it about the same size. Go to border, line, make it thicker. That's perfect, right? Now bring this one to the top. Over here, if it's not over here, if you haven't done the customizations on your toolbar yet, over here in Format Arrange, you can do that just as easily. Bring it to the front. Now here's where I'm going to show you how you can duplicate things. You don't have to make everything the same all the time. So I'm going to go tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here, and tap here. It's closed. Close it up. I'm going to get rid of this now. Now this one can be saved as a style as well. So we want this to be exactly the same, right? We want to be uniform, but it doesn't look like that book. So if I double tap on it, check it out. When I go here, I can bring this up here and make it beveled. Okay, so there we have ourselves a little bit of a book. Why don't I go back to shape over here? A little bit of a line, go tap, tap, double tap, it's closed. Double tap this, hit enter, make it thicker, duplicate it. See, it's all lined up. Shift click, Command D, duplicate it. It's all spaced out perfectly, right? Now I can shift click this and this and this. Do you remember now? How do we group it? Is it Command Option G for group? It certainly is. Duplicate it. How do you do that? Command D for duplicate? Certainly is. Over here again, format, flip, drag it over here. Make sure it's all aligned. Shift click, Command Option G to group it, make sure it's centered. Shift click, grab this, Command Option G to group it, and boom, we have ourselves a book. Maybe I'm better than this. Maybe I do some reading before I go right to the old TV. Now, I'm not sure, but maybe you have some schoolwork that needs to be done as well. Maybe after you've done some reading, maybe it's not Sunday, maybe it's Monday. Command Tab, back over here. We're kind of got a black and white thing going, so let's stick with that theme. Command Control Shift 4. Command V, here we go. I'm gonna actually tell you to go ahead and just do this one yourself. And now actually let's go to Format, Arrange, and constrain those proportions because we're gonna duplicate it and we wanna make it smaller because it's stairs, right? They're kind of cascading. And let's put that backwards one. Move it up with the arrows, duplicate it, put that backward, move it up with the little arrows. All right, basically we have a pretty good start here. A bit smaller. Now, Command D, put it over here. They're all lined up, great. Shift click, Command Option G, groups it, Command D duplicates it, boom, there it is. Lined it up, Shift click, these ones, move it up a bit, Command Option G groups it, Command D duplicates it, put it over here, lined up. Keep tapping until you get one of them, Command C copies it, get out of there. Otherwise when you paste it, it'll be pasted right in the group that you've just been working with. There we go. Now remember, you need to shift click everything in order to group it. Command Option G. Now this isn't perfect. This first step, for example, I think is too big, so I could grab it and make it a bit smaller if I wanted to, but that's all up to you. And you can get creative. Here's where you can start mashing things up, right? So I'm not actually going to school these days. We're doing remote learning. So I might actually choose to put this school in the computer. When I do that, however, I need to go over here, double tap to get in, and change the width of our lines. Make sure they all match up. And I can say, well, I went to school, but I went to school on the computer. Now that's up to you. You could put in a World Wide Web image up there, anything you wanted. You continue along all the way around, and there you are. One last tip. Bring this over here, zoom right in on it, make it nice and big. Before I had to, when you zoom in, you might notice things like this is actually sticking out the bottom, so now I fixed that. If you do Command Control Shift 4, like we were doing when we got these pictures to begin with, and you take a picture of it, I like to grab a slide over here and duplicate it, Command D, because that way I can keep all my original work without losing it, even when I do other things with it. So Command V. This is the Alpha tool. You can get to it from Format Image as well, Instant Alpha. Now I can get rid of that white stuff around the background. And now Command X, put it in here, Command V. Now I don't have to worry about changing all those sizes, because no matter how big it gets, the width of all the borders remain the same. That's another little trick for you here. There is a link below to a video explaining how to make explainer videos in Keynote. It's a good way to learn more about how to animate if you wish to animate your story. This is basically it. This is something you can do, and if you're a teacher, you can assign this to your students and check on wellness. We can all have a little bit of a creative outlet, and we can have some fun making things like this. If you're a student, you can make this and share it with your friends, and you can all just have a discussion, a talk about how things are going, and maybe learn a tip or two from some of your friends. Have some great ideas that can help you make the best out of your isolation as well. I guess we're all trying to stay away from people now, right? So good luck. Let me know what you think. Ask any questions in the comments. Please share this around. I'd like as many people as possible out there benefiting from this and learning how to manage their time more creatively. Thank you.